Obviously, another good win down in Florida. I thought the team was obviously did a nice job of playing hard throughout. I think defensively we were really consistent when when offense wasn't going well. We stayed in there on the defensive end, which allowed us to be there when offense started to go well. And then obviously we did have a point in the game where it really flipped for us and made a bunch of shots and got out of there with the win. So, learning how to do that, I think it's been a process. I think we let some get away in the fourth quarter earlier in the year, and we were right in that same situation again, and really had multiple people step up and do a lot of really good things. So, it's awesome. We got a lot of people on here. I think, I know our team, when you look at on here being this press conference and here following us, and I appreciate it. I know our players do too. When you look at Twitter and whatever, that people that come watch this group play, they really like to watch them play. And I wish we had a home game this week because I think we would have a great, really good crowd. We got to find a way to go win two more, so that hopefully when we get back, there's a good crowd in here. But they play really hard together, and they're having a lot of fun. And you're going to talk to Kia Civils here after me, and I think I have no idea what her stats say. They don't say a lot productivity-wise, but she's a huge leader on our team. I don't know how she feels, but I feel like she has more influence on this group right now than she's ever had here. And I think you see that with and influence, just understanding how to accept roles and unselfish, and they're having a lot of fun because they're celebrating each other's good days basically, and that is what you try to get done, to be successful as a team. And this group, their chemistry is really, really good right now. Our challenge is continuing that now I wish we were going to the tournament soon. They're playing really well. They're playing well together. They're playing tough. We've got to continue to grow for 2 more months. Do we have room to grow? Yes. Offensively, I think you see that. And at the same time, we won a game on the road without our second leading scorer, somebody that averages 14 points a game. So how was our offense? Sometimes it takes a little bit to figure out how to fill that hole. So I think you can look at the stats and say we didn't play that well on the offensive end. You can also look at it and say, that was a pretty big loss out there that we were trying to figure out how to cover that hole. So I'm excited to have Kia on here. I think that we have gotten, I was trying to remember the stats on this. I think our bench has gotten a positive bench warning 4 games in a row. I've got to go over there and tell them, you can wave your towel, you can yell, scream, clap, bark, we do growl, we do all kinds of stuff over there. But they have to be off the floor to do that. You can't run to half court to celebrate those threes anymore. So the officials have been great about the positivity. I think anybody in our game wants that. Like I told you, I hear a lot of people that watch us that enjoy that part of it. So they've been great about, hey, they're super positive, they're having fun, they just can't be 7 steps on the floor when they're doing it. So we got to go. We talk about that in timeouts, and then we talk about, the things we're going to do to hopefully make some baskets and get stops. But I'm glad Kia's here to talk about that today. She's been one of the most consistent human beings that I've ever been around. I think her worst day here is probably a B+, and that's no exaggeration. I never have to tell her, you're not playing very hard, and that's kind of the leadership that I'm talking about and the influence on our team that I think you see it throughout. We got a whole bunch of people doing those little tough things that Kia Civils has always done. So it's a long opening statement, but wanted to talk about some of that stuff and really my reasoning for bringing Kia today. I think she's a leader over there. It's a group of people that are really doing a lot of good things with each other right now.
Questions? You talk about growth, Coach. What are some of those things you want to see them grow into? Is it a little more tangible
I think that I think there's a lot of intangible things they've got to leave right where they're at. So as I said, to me, I see a group that's really happy for each other's success. That's got to stay there. We need to play better on offense, and defensively, we're in a really good spot defensively right now. But basketball it's a really long year. We still got a whole bunch of games, and somebody's going to get after us. I don't know who, but somebody will. There's really good teams throughout our league. We need to keep. I think we've been really level-headed about what the goal is when we go into these games. I think if people make shots on us, we've been very steady with what the plan is and stayed in there. That's got to continue. We need to continue to do little things defensively to maybe throw off rhythm and stuff. We're starting to add some more things like that into our, maybe adjustments and things in game. I think offensively we've got to continue to grow as a team. We got to get them more shots that they can make. They've got to step up and make them when they get the chance. So to me, I see the biggest area for growth. We got to leave our defense somewhere around where it's at. We've got to keep getting better on the offensive end.
Coach, I know that, you look at Rice and North Texas, those are two teams that last year were top three teams, and you were able to beat both of them and really build some momentum that carried into this season. How much of this, even though both lost their openers in CUSA play, how much of this is really a barometer weekend, especially going on the road and going into those environments against teams that are used to winning?
Yeah, they're two very tough games, and I think you said it really well. Two teams that have had a lot of success in conference. They both went on the road to Middle Tennessee, which Middle Tennessee is very, very good. That's typical every year. I think when you look at their scores and some of the teams they've beaten, they might be leading the Big Ten right now if they were in the Big Ten, from what I remember. So that's a good team. That's a tough place to play. I think you kind of take that one game that they've both played with a grain of salt, right? They're going home now. I believe you're talking about the champ and the runner-up, I think, on their side from last year. We were able to split with them last year. They were two huge games for our team at the time we got them. I think, some of the defensive things you're seeing is a carryover from the end of the year last year. This team was playing really well at the end of the year last year too, and maybe it took us a little bit to put the pieces together, but we're sort of back on that same plane about how we're going to win games. We've got to play well on the defensive end and get enough offense to get the win. And it's going to be two big tests in Texas, and it starts in Denton on Thursday night. I think they were, I don't get too hung up in the rankings of where people were picked, but I think they were picked pretty high in the league going into the start of the year. Quincy Noble is pretty special. I'm probably going to mess her name. Jazon Jackson has really played well against us in the past, and she's got very good statistics as well. And I could kind of go on down the list. They're a talented team that's played a pretty tough schedule at this point too. So I think you look at wins and losses, and to a certain degree, you throw that out the window. You do throw it out the window when conference play starts. It doesn't matter, And I know they're going to be excited to play at home, and they're going to be a tough test.
You look at your success this year too. Top 30 in turnovers on both sides, taking care of the basketball and forcing the opposition into turnovers. It seems like every time a team has a leader, you all are able to methodically limit them below what they're wanting to do. And is that where you're seeing the other teams make mistakes, is they're getting outside of the norm what they're wanting to do?
I think that I think in a way we're just playing really hard. So at times if you show us the ball, we're just going after it. If you show it, we try to go get it. And if you're super aggressive, we're really not very aggressive for a whole lot of the floor. I mean, we give you, 78 feet of the floor. You can do whatever you want. The last 15 feet, we don't give you much of the floor. And, I just think, Kia Civil, she's a great one to ask that question to. She goes after the ball. If she feels like she can get it, and sometimes she can get it when she doesn't even feel like she can get it. She just goes after it, and if you've got a group of people doing that, it's not just one person. It's Cece Mays, ultra aggressive on the defensive end when she sees the ball. And so we've started to turn people over quite a bit. We try to keep you in front as much as we can, and if you show it to us, we might go get it. And then I think the introduction of Aaliyah Dunham into our offense, she doesn't turn it over. And, when she was available in the portal, that's the one thing that you knew, well, that's going to translate. If you're historically every year, her assist-to-turnover ratio is very, very high. And it's been really, really high here too. So I think we're positive assist-to-turnover ratio at this point in the year as a team. And a lot of that is Aaliyah's very positive, and then everybody else, I think, makes pretty good decisions as well. So that's been two important stats, and we need to keep it where it is, and that's going to get harder as you get deeper into the conference season. It's going to be hard this week to do that with 2 on the road.
Coach, just generally speaking, with this little streak they're on, can you have a sense that the team feels like they can win and will win, as opposed to kind of hoping they would win maybe in the past?
I think that we're going through the process of hopefully developing that. I think you're right. I think you got to continue to do it time and time and time again. But I sort of chalk up the fourth quarter performance at FAU to just that. I mean, staying there long enough, and then, kind of like who are we? Who do we want to be? I mean, that doesn't come from we ran some sets and things like that. But we were running sets the whole game that they weren't making. But in the fourth quarter they made them, and so I think that I think that mentality is developing. It's been challenged 3 times already. I think this entire week, is the biggest challenge yet. They have school back in session now, so they're juggling that, and we've got a way shorter week of, our practice times really get condensed when we get school going, because we have majors all over the map. So we try to carve out a practice block. It's a mess. Our Tuesdays we got half of them lifting right now. Some of them are in watching film, this and that. We have an hour and a half where we're all together. And so that's 2 days out from a game. You've got to get film and all the practice together that you want to put in an hour and a half. And that's pretty condensed. Tomorrow we'll leave pretty early in the morning. You have a short practice that day too. So, we went from having plenty of time to talk through things to a lot of that stuff gets really slammed this week, and then you're going on the road to play 2 really quality opponents. So, you're fully in the thick of it now, and you've done a really good job to put yourself in a good position to hopefully continue to build that mentality. And I know we'll be in plenty of situations from here on out to give us that chance.
Hey, Coach, real quick, Savannah Wheeler, obviously last week, she was the conference, player of the week. She's averaging over 20 points a game. Just how much have you seen her grow from last year to this year, and how much of an impact does she have on the team for you guys? Well,
she's a really gutty player. She plays extremely hard every day, practice, games, whatever you want to call it. To be honest, I probably see the most growth of her in this year. I don't know what the switch was. I know she was disappointed that we didn't beat Michigan State. She played well against Michigan State for probably like 35 minutes, and then we didn't play well at the end. And I have probably seen a little bit of a flip on her for fourth quarter, early in games. I think she's been way better about, if you give me a window, I'm going to make you pay, and maybe there's growth there and understanding, like I don't get many that are open. I don't get many that are in rhythm. I need to be focused and ready when I do get them. But Bree Furby hit a bunch of shots against FAU. Savannah Wheeler made 2 coming out of the quarter, back-to-back strong drives at the rim, and then Aaliyah found her on a break where they just lost her for a second, and she hit a 3. So she might only had 3 shots in the fourth quarter. She made all 3 of them at FAU. So to me, that's the biggest growth I see, is she's just got a little bit different twinkle in her eye, so to speak, of steadiness, of focus, that, when I get opportunities, I need to take advantage, or our team is, we're gonna get beaten games we don't want to get beat in. And we've talked about that a little bit, that we were pretty disappointed in giving up a lead against Coppin State, and the bottom line that we kind of talked about was basically we didn't get any stops, and their team made a whole bunch of shots in the fourth quarter, and we shot open ones and didn't make any. And if you want to win that game, if they're going to hit one, then eventually you've got to counter back and step up and hit one too. And I see us doing that more now. We just have to try to continue to carry it over.
Anything else?
Here's Kia.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Yep, thanks.